I know Ender 3 reviews have been done to death, so I'll try and keep this brief. In this video I'm going to compare the Ender 2 with the Ender 3 and give my opinions as to which you should choose as your first printer. Creality make a fantastic range of printers, and in the £100 and £200 range you're going to be hard pressed to find more capable machines than the Ender 2 and the Ender 3. Now, outside of the build plate difference, is there anything in there that we really need to upgrade to the Ender 3 for? In terms of print quality, I'm going to have to say that you'll find the quality to be comparable between the two. The Ender 3 does however come with a more sturdy design for the frame, but overall I found the build and material quality to be very good for both. Now, bed leveling at times on the Ender 2 can be a real big pain because it only has 3 knobs, and the knobs are very small in a very tight space, which further adds to the problems. The Ender 3 fixes this obviously by adding an extra knob and making them considerably bigger, which makes the bed easier to level. The 3-point bed leveling method is a bit confusing if you've never done it before, and it's probably not the best for a beginner either. It is important to note, however, that once I switch to a glass bed on the Ender 2, I rarely have to re-level the bed anymore. One of the better changes Creality have made between the two is to change the way the power supply is integrated with the machine. Now, on the Ender 2, it comes with a separate power supply box that takes up space on your printing area, and it's a big pain in the ass. One of the real big problems I found with it was the live, neutral and earth lines that come into the power supply come directly from the plug, and even though it has this plastic shroud and the crappy flimsy finger guard, it doesn't really protect the end user from potentially electrocuting yourself. Now, the Ender 3 fixes this problem by having a IC socket with a fuse and a switch on the shroud itself. The power supply gets bolted into this little plastic shroud and is connected by 2 hex head bolts, so unless you're really trying to stick your fingers in the mains voltage, at which point nobody can help you, there's no way you can really hurt yourself with the electrics on this machine. It is important to check all of these Chinesium power supplies to make sure that the chassis of the power supply is connected to earth. Now, you can do this with a multimeter, which you can see here, and basically you turn the multimeter into continuity mode, you touch the claimed ground terminal and you touch the case, and if you get an audible beeping, then you know that they're connected together. The reason you want to check this is if the live line from the power supply comes loose and contacts the metal, then all of the metal is at the mains voltage, which is obviously not very good for your health. So just make sure, double check, and if it isn't, there may be some issue with the crimp terminal on the end of the earth line, at which point you can replace that. Now, there is one thing to note about the Ender 3 power supply that you probably need to consider before you plug the device in. Now, there has been some reports that the XT60 connectors, these yellow little plugs, are counterfeits and are prone to failing. Not everybody is having this problem, and I don't believe I have this problem either, but I would recommend that you check this video out by Maker's Muse for more details. Just check it. If it looks dodgy, then replace it. It's not a problem. Finally, I want to talk about the communities that surround both of these printers. The Ender 2 and the Ender 3 have really solid Facebook groups where you can go to ask questions. The Ender 2 group is a little bit smaller, but it's very active, and when I had problems putting my printer together, because it was the first one I've ever done, there were answers there for me, and I used the search feature. I also downloaded a Cura profile that worked out to be very good. The Ender 3 is probably the most popular printer on the market right now, so there's plenty of YouTube videos, and it was quite interesting to note that in my Ender 3, Creality themselves were pointing to the official Creality Facebook group. So let's wrap up me talking about this printer. You've heard it all before. In conclusion, if you're looking to dip your toes into the world of 3D printing, then I'd probably say you don't want to look any further than the Ender 2 or the Ender 3. The Ender 2 is an absolute powerhouse for the price, but as I mentioned, it's a little bit less user-friendly. Problems with the power supply, you probably don't want that around kids. But I got mine for under £100 in a flash sale. Think about that. You could have your own 3D printer with a very small footprint for £89 is what I spent. And then obviously additionally shipping on top of that. But it come pretty close to £100 from what I remember. Now, if you don't need the bigger build plate and you're willing to kind of put a little bit more effort in putting this together, then the Ender 2 is a great choice. Now, my Ender 3 came from Amazon with next day delivery, so no 2, 3, 4 week waiting time to be shipped all the way from China. It was around £200, and because of a deal that's on at the moment on Amazon UK, and I'm guessing Amazon everywhere because it's the Amazon Easter sale, I got a metal extruder kit, which is one of the upgrades that everyone recommends to do. So if you're impatient and want a printer that's very widely used, then you can get a next day delivery 3D printer for around £200 in the UK. What a bargain. So without further ado, I'm going to shut up, and hopefully I'll see you next time.